How close will America come to falling off a fiscal cliff? Two Washington insiders are bringing us both sides of that debate when we come back. Temporary changes in tax and spending policies expire at the end of the year. Mark Levine is a Democratic congressional lawyer and host of the Inside Tax Plus. How close will America come to falling off a fiscal cliff? Two Washington insiders are bringing us both sides of that debate when we come back. Under current law, many temporary changes in tax and spending policies expire at the end of the year. Mark Levine is a Democratic congressional lawyer and host of the Inside Scoop. Terry Holt is a Republican media strategist. They both join us now to break down why the markets are afraid of falling off the fiscal cliff. Mr. Levine, it's good to have you. Want to get your reaction to comments that we heard from President Clinton. He told our own Maria Bartiromo he is the most prominent Democrat, obviously, other than President Obama. He argued that all of the tax cuts should be extended. Do you agree?
Well, I don't think they should be extended permanently. I mean, Republicans complain about deficits all the time. And let's face it, the deficits are caused mostly by the Bush tax cuts, not by the temporary Obama stimulus. And the Bush tax cuts have to expire at some point, but they shouldn't expire at a time we're in recession, except for those, I think, in the upper class. Let's face it, there's an article in today's Washington Post, front page. It talks about the fact that middle-class people have seen their wealth sapped 40%, while those millionaires have made money over the last few years. It seems to me that the people who've been really hurt, who've lost their wealth 40%, they need to keep their taxes low because they're the engines of the economy, while it's okay to have the millionaires raise their taxes a bit.
Why change anybody's tax structure given the weakness that we've seen in the economy? Why not just do what President Clinton suggested and at least extend them into next year, but not permanently?
Well, they certainly shouldn't be extended permanently. I think the problem is that you're never going to convince the middle class, who've seen their wealth sapped so much, to ever increase their taxes if the millionaires keep making tremendous fortunes and don't have to pay the 39% under the Clinton years.
Terry Holt, taxes remain the biggest stumbling block in this entire discussion, and I guess your party, by virtue of documents that many of you, I'm not sure if you specifically have, but certainly many of your colleagues on the Republican side of the aisle have signed that document from Grover Norquist. How much budging are you willing to do on your side of the aisle on the issue of taxes and revenue raise?
Well, it's pretty clear that if you leave more money in the economy in the hands of the private sector, you have more opportunity to create jobs and investment, and businesses can do what they do best, which is try to find ways to grow. I think that the rhetoric we heard from your other guest is kind of the reason why we all think of Washington headed for the cliff, kind of like Thelma and Louise. But fundamentally, what's going on here is that the political parties have to find a way to energize their bases. For the Democrats, for President Obama, the kind of class warfare rhetoric we're hearing in this interview today is the reason why we're not going to really have a serious conversation about fundamental tax reform until after this election. They need to energize their very distracted and disengaged base, and so they're going to basically put this whole problem on hold, that is the Obama administration, until after there's an outcome of this election. You know, in most elections, to the victor go the spoils, but to this case,
you're insinuating, though, you're insinuating, though, that the Republicans are willing to come to the table and budge it all on the revenue raise side, and that's being a little disingenuous as well, isn't it?
I don't know that they aren't. I'm saying that raising taxes is a terrible idea, and putting these tax cuts in place permanently would give the business sector the kind of certainty they need to plan ahead further than just 1 year at a time. That seems crazy to me.
Wait, I have a question for, this is Mark, I have a question for both of you. Mr. Levine, if you taxed everybody, okay, every millionaire at 100% of what they made for the next 5 years, would the budget deficit go away?
No, the budget deficit would not go away. But let's talk about some clear economic realities here.
Wait, it wouldn't go away. At the same time, at the same time, okay? At the same time, going ahead and instead of raising tax rates necessarily, getting rid of all these loopholes, getting rid of all the exclusion, getting rid of all these tax incentives for, you know, for oil, for you know, all the for the credits for farming and everything.
Great. Let's do it.
Right. I think that the better approach would be to put everybody in one room, say you cannot leave until you have a balanced budget and get rid of all the partisanship. Because just by listening to the both of you, this is why nothing happens.
That
Mark,
was called Simpson Bowls.
But let's talk about some quick economic realities.
Let me just throw something out there to both of you guys real quick. I mean, I've got a guy sitting next to me who's one of the most seasoned and experienced oil traders in the energy pit. And what you guys clearly, I think, are missing the point of is a guy like this who knows the markets as well as anybody is in part paralyzed by the inability of either of your parties to do anything substantial in Washington, and it's negatively impacting the markets.
I like the idea of locking everybody in a room. Unfortunately, this is not corporate America where we can do that. This is called a pluralistic democracy.
We did it, and it was called Simpson Bowls, and neither one of you guys, your parties that you represent, could come to an agreement and get it done.
Look, there's $1.8 trillion in cash being hoarded by corporations right now,
and they're not spending it. And
it's not because they don't have more money.
I'm not going to argue with someone who keeps talking. I don't think that's informative to the public.
I want to finish my point about economic realities here. Because there's $1.8 trillion by corporations. They haven't spent it. Corporate profits are 6.9% of GDP. That's the highest they've been since 1966. Giving more money to rich people is not the way out of this economy.
Right.
The way out of this economy is consumer demand and consumer confidence, and that can only happen with the middle class that has been so sorely hit. That's why Eric Cantor's suggestion that we're going to raise taxes on the middle class and give the money to the rich is a complete non-starter. It will not solve the economic reality.
Mr. Holt, give me the quick last word.
Well, I think the suggestion of having everybody locked in a room is a great idea if it's corporate America, but this is Washington. Everybody has their special interest to represent. If we have a honest conversation after this election where there is middle ground on taxes, on budget, on unraveling the health care reforms that we have in place, we will see progress going into next year. Speaker Boehner's already appointed his most senior counsel to begin that planning. The Obama administration would do well to do the same thing, because the train wreck is coming. It's going to impact every aspect of our society, and it's time to quit screwing around.
Gentlemen, let's leave it there. Mark Levine and Terry Holt, thanks so much for coming on Halftime. A bit of a change of pace for us, but certainly not the battling back and forth. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Scott, you just saw it in microcosm why the markets are paralyzed. That dialogue that went on between the two of them is why the country is paralyzed. And after the election, right, what's going to happen? There's going to be the deficit reduction. The country's going to be held hostage by that, right, until we can go ahead. I mean, I told this to Joe in Chicago, right? I was kidding around, but not really kidding around. Until the country can vote for none of the above, right, what's going to happen?
All right, up next.